There is a rather unexpected development involving Rangers chairman Andrew Cavenagh, and it could open the door to a fascinating new relationship between Ibrox and one of Northern Ireland's biggest clubs. Let's break this down. There is so much to discuss in today's video, so be sure to like the video and subscribe to the channel for daily Rangers content. Cavenagh has reportedly held initial discussions with Linfield after being approached about the possibility of investing in the Belfast outfit. While this is certainly an intriguing development, it is important to stress that there is currently no suggestion that a takeover or investment deal is imminent. Linfield are facing a difficult financial situation and are actively looking for ways to bring fresh money into the club. The Blues have seen several domestic rivals move ahead of them in recent seasons, while last season brought further disappointment both domestically and in Europe. David Healy's side finished fourth in the Irish Premiership before suffering a costly first-round Conference League exit against Estonian minnows Nome Kalju. Those setbacks have only added to the pressure on the club financially, which has prompted senior figures at Linfield to explore a number of potential partnerships. And that is where Andrew Cavenagh enters the picture. The Rangers chief was reportedly approached through a third party with a proposal that would see him take a stake in Linfield. But what makes this particularly interesting for Rangers supporters is the idea that was apparently presented alongside the investment. The proposal included using Linfield as something of a nursery club for Rangers, potentially creating a pathway for young Ibrox Academy players to gain valuable first-team experience. That could be hugely significant. One of the biggest challenges facing any academy is finding regular competitive football for promising youngsters once they move beyond youth football. A relationship with a club like Linfield could potentially give Rangers prospects the opportunity to play senior football, develop physically and tactically, and return to Ibrox better prepared for the demands of the first team. Of course, there is a very long way to go before anything like that becomes reality. Cavenagh, who became involved with Rangers after the American-led takeover involving the San Francisco 49ers, has only held initial discussions with Linfield. There is no indication at this stage that an agreement has been reached, nor that Rangers are about to establish an official partnership with the Northern Irish club. But the fact that discussions have taken place is certainly noteworthy. It raises the possibility of Cavenagh expanding his involvement in football beyond Rangers and potentially creating a model that could have a direct benefit for the Ibrox Academy. For Linfield, meanwhile, fresh investment could provide a much-needed financial boost at a time when the club are desperately trying to close the gap on their domestic rivals. So, while this is not a takeover announcement, and Rangers supporters should not expect an immediate deal, there is clearly something developing behind the scenes. And if these early conversations eventually turn into something more concrete, Rangers could potentially end up with a new strategic relationship across the sea. One that could give their academy youngsters a completely different route into senior football. Before we get into our next story, if you are enjoying today's video and you would like to see more and stay updated with the latest Rangers news, make sure you hit the like button and subscribe to the channel so you never miss a video. Thank you, let's get back into the video. There has been a major twist surrounding Connor Barron's potential Rangers exit, with fresh reports from Spain appearing to completely change the picture surrounding the midfielder's future. Over the last 24 hours, Barron has been linked with a possible late window move to Sevilla, with reports claiming the La Liga side had identified the 23-year-old as a midfield option. West Ham United and Serie A side Bologna were also said to be monitoring the Scotland international, creating plenty of speculation over whether Rangers could be set to lose another midfielder before the transfer window closes. However, that Sevilla story has now been firmly addressed in Spain, and the latest information is not quite what Rangers supporters may have been expecting. Respected local outlet El Pespunte has moved quickly to clarify the situation at the Ramon Sanchez Pizjuan, reporting that Barron is not currently a target for Sevilla, despite claims elsewhere that the Spanish club had registered concrete interest and potentially made an approach. The midfielder reportedly does not feature in the plans of either Sevilla's sporting director or their technical staff. The Spanish side are still looking at options to strengthen their central midfield before the deadline, but Barron has apparently been ruled out of that particular search. That puts a very different spin on the rumours, but it certainly doesn't mean Barron's Rangers' future is secure. The midfielder remains one of the players expected to potentially leave Ibrox before the window closes, with Rangers having significantly reshaped their midfield this summer. Dan Neil, Cami Devlin and Vanja Dragojevic have all arrived, while Ross McCrory provides another option in the middle of the park. The changes have been part of a wider rebuild, which has also seen Rangers prepare for the potential departures of players, including Nicola Raskin, Mohamed Diomande and Barron. Diomande has already completed his exit, joining Coram FK, but Rangers are still waiting for concrete offers for both Raskin and Barron, and that is where the next few weeks could become particularly interesting. If Sevilla are genuinely out of the picture, attention will now turn towards West Ham and Bologna to see whether either club decides to make their interest concrete. Rangers may still be open to moving Barron on, but the lack of a firm offer so far means his situation remains unresolved. For Barron, this could therefore be less about a move to Spain and more about which club, if any, decides to make a serious push for him before deadline day. And with Rangers potentially still looking to make as many as 5 more additions, including a striker, right-sided winger, left-back and another defender, there could be plenty more movement at Ibrox before the window finally slams shut. So, while the Sevilla link appears to have taken a major twist, with reports from Spain ruling Connor Barron out of their current plans, that does not necessarily mean his Rangers exit has been taken off the table. The midfielder is still expected to be one of the players who could leave Ibrox this summer, and with West Ham and Bologna previously linked, the next move could now come from elsewhere. For Rangers, the key will be whether a concrete offer finally arrives, because with the club continuing to reshape Derek McInnes' squad and potentially making several more additions before the deadline, Barron's future is certainly one to keep a very close eye on.